my producer. Pull from the hip, 4/5, I'm the shooter. Dog, I do ya. But the two don't discriminate, cause I shoot the guy next to ya. I can see right through.
Our next question for you, Q, and you got to be careful with this because I know you got a lot of.
Scared.
Give me your top 5 women basketball players to come through King.
Dang. And you know.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the I Ain't Heard That podcast, where we're bringing you positive interviews. And if this is your first time on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe. We got a new guest in the building today. I'm going to turn it over to Marvin, who's going to go ahead and introduce her.
Well, I feel good about this one, introducing this one, because we play the same position. If I had to compare myself to a girl, I would be Q. Ladies and gentlemen, LeQuisha Whitfield. How you doing, Q?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Appreciate you for having me. Thank you so much for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I'm super flattered. Super flattered.
Okay, well, I'm going to start it off. I'm going to ask you the first question. Why MLK?
Man, so, it initially wasn't ML King. It wasn't. It was Cass. So I had been affiliated with King since I was 10 years old with Coach Whitfield. And it wasn't a sense of him just simply recruiting me for King. He just was a resource to young girls like myself who wanted to get better. So he met me at St. Cecilia. That's where I did my summer camp set with my brother, and him and my AAU coach, Inez Oliver. They came and saw me at St. Cecilia and provided me with all these different, teams that I can go play with different girls, because I only played with boys up until I was 10. So that's how I was affiliated with Coach Whitfield, but he wasn't pressed on me actually coming to King because I was so young and I wasn't even getting ready for high school. I was getting ready for middle school ball. So it was just him being a resource to me, and I really wanted to go to Cass. But it was maybe the summer of my 8th grade year, going into my 9th grade year, I had already registered with Cass, got my classes, getting ready to start. I think it was like 2 weeks before school started, and my mom, she just randomly was like, "You're going to King." And I remember crying, bawling, like, they're so good. Like, I can't go over there and play with them. Like, I would be sitting on the bench. Like, why would you send me there? It was just, for me, I was devastated. But for my mother, she saw the bigger picture. And she was loyal to Coach Whitfield. And so was I, in a sense. It was just, I thought at that age, I thought it would be better for me to go to Cass, just because I thought King was too good out of my league, because they were a powerhouse. Even before I got there, they kept good players. So it was intimidating for me at that age. But my mother, she didn't care. She was like, if you're going to get better or be the best, you have to play with the best. So she switched me up quick, like, sorry, Cass, and sent me to King. And that's how it started.
So let me ask you this, Dan. I didn't have this wrote down, but now that you said that, please explain to our viewers that Cass King rival. Because I know it's probably like a Persian Osborne rival. So
that rivalry to this day is just deep. Like, for any technician and any crusader, it's personal. I don't know why or how it got so personal, but it's a deep rivalry because in hindsight, King and Cass kept good teams. So you always gonna see a ball game for boys basketball, for girls basketball, and at a certain point, football started becoming, pretty competitive once we played against each other. So it was just, I guess, the talent level for each school and the fact that we were literally down the street from each other. So it just became so deep. So whenever we played against them or whatever the case, it went down. So that rivalry to this day, again, like my coworker, she's a technician, and her and I, we throw shots at each other all day long at work. Don't let somebody come in and say they went to Cass or King, and we just go at it. So it's different from college. Like the Michigan State rivalry means nothing compared to the Cass King. Like my son, he's 14 and getting ready to go to high school, and his coaches at Cass, and he had the audacity to say to me that he's considering going to Cass, and I'm like, nah, bruh, not in my house. Like, you can, with college, I don't care, whatever you choose to do, but while you in my house, you will not be a technician. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. I don't care where your coach at or what he's doing. If he's at any other school but Cass, then we can consider it, but you're not going to Cass. Sorry.
We don't do green and white on any level.
We don't on no level. So I don't know. I'm sorry. That's just me. I bleed black and gold, and we can't have a house divided. We can't. Not that divided.
There it is. I like that. So how involved were you with the history of Martin Luther King, like Gwen Burton, Merle Ferguson, those players, great players that came before you?
See, I was involved with like the Marquita Aldrich, and I met her, I know, in middle school, and I was just like, wow, because, you know, she was Miss Basketball, and man, like that was the era where I started being like, you know, and I was still young at that age, super young. So I don't go past her, but the players that, you know, it was like Tashana Gregory and, you know, the Sharons and that era when I was like in elementary school. Like I said, I started when I was 10 with King, so I'm deep into that era. So definitely, but Marquita Aldridge, I met her at a young age, and you know that I was definitely a big fan of her. So
okay. Well, just to let you know some history, Merle Ferguson put up 63 on Persia. Just saying.
Wow. Thoughts are wrong.
I knew that little tidbit, but for Marvin's sake, I was gonna leave that part out because Coach Whitfield, he talked about her a lot in practice. So I definitely, but again, and she was so before my time that, you know.
I know I'm old. Thank you.
So Q, you won two state titles, right? 03, 06, right?
Uh-huh.
So which one meant the most, and get some of your memorable moments from both?
I feel like it was more so the 06 one because I think I could. And actually, to be honest, completely honest, we only came out as runner-ups in 06. I think that's the year that we lost to Southfield Lathrop.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was 05 maybe. This is the winner 05, 06. Yeah, that year. We didn't win it. We lost in the state championship. But even though we lost that still meant more to me to the 03. Even we won in 03 because I feel like I contributed more to that journey to get there, you know, because going into my senior year, we started to kind of lose our powerhouse in a sense of, you know, we usually had 10 players that were standing 6 feet and taller. I'm talking about our point guard, you know. So as time went on, we started to lose that powerhouse. So my senior year, we didn't have a lot of point guards. We didn't have a strength in the point guard area, and that's the year that Reese took our city championship from us, and that's what separated the fact that they pulled it out and not us because they had guard play. And so for us to like have like this turnaround throughout the middle of the season and make it to the state finals and overcome Cyrese and them, because once we got to the playoffs and had to play Reese again, I honestly wasn't sure. I didn't know we was gonna lose. I didn't want to lose. That's all I knew. And for us, and I think we played at Central and we pulled it out, and the new Central, and pulled it out and won and went to the state playoffs and played against Southfield Lathrop in the state championship, and they tore us up. But we made it. We made it.
They always say, because you know back then, compared to you guys, it was you and Jasmine, and then when I was at Persian, it was me and Petey. And they always said a group of good guards would be any bigs any day.
Every day. And that's what happened with Persian. You know, they had Cyrese, they had Toy, they had a little bit. They had another guard that was really good too. I can't remember her name, but
Wiley.
Yep. And then they had, you know, Lauren, you know, playing my position. So they were good. And I give all props to them that year because they were literally a Cinderella story. And although it hurt me to lose my cities to them, because, you know, that was the first cities we had lost since Coach Whitfield took over the program. We've never lost a city. So we were the first team to lose city. So it completely broke me. So when we came up against them again, there was no way they was taking it from me again. So we in Stone, we had to do when we made to the cities, but we did not win that second final. We came in runner-up. Actually, I came in 2 runner-ups, my junior year and my senior year. So I made it to the state playoffs every year. It was just we only actually pulled out one.
Okay, this next question is kind of a 2-part question. Talk about how much was Coach Whitfield an influence for you? And then talk about those cowboy boots. Why couldn't y'all never get him to stop?
Y'all gonna leave my coach alone. Because he started to get a little swaggy toward, you know, the end of my school season and stuff. He started wearing some Nikes and But his cowboy boots was his swag. You know, you got your style. That was his style. We accepted it, just like we accepted the fro. You know, so Leon coached along, but I give a lot of credit to Coach Whitfield for my development and the type of player that I became. I mean, he saw something in me that I never saw myself. Like, I know at King, when I first got there, I didn't play my freshman and sophomore year. I did not start seeing the floor until the state playoffs of my sophomore year, and I hit 2 threes. And when I hit them 2 threes, something rushed off of me, and I was able to perform the way I perform in the AAU. I wasn't nervous, and, you know, I wasn't second guessing myself, because Winfield had already, you know, believed in me way before that. My freshman year, he would just throw me out there in the middle of a Cass King game, and I'm just on the floor like, oh my God, I'm talking about the game is packed, just the score is tight, and he throwing me in the middle, like third quarter, fourth quarter, and I'm like, what is he doing? He saw something in me. And he would always tell me that, like, I don't know, you know, because he would travel with us for AAU, and he would see a different cue in AAU that he knew would flourish in DPS league, but when it came time for me to actually perform, I wouldn't. And, you know, he just kept giving me that opportunity to prove myself. And eventually I did. It just took me longer than I wish it had. But he played a big part. Like I said, Coach been in my life since I was 10 years old. 10 years old. People always say, oh, he recruit his kids. And I mean, if that was his strategy of recruitment, kudos. Like, he did nothing wrong. That was being a basketball coach. That was being a smart player. You invested in your players at a very young age. You showing that you care. Cass wasn't doing that for me at 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? But I still wanted to go to Cass. And that's, I think, why my mom, you know, decided to go ahead and let me go to King. But he has, and still to this day, I see Coach Whitfield, and he treat me, you know, just as I'm still one of his players. And, you know, it's all love. Like, people used to always mistake him as my dad because our last names are similar. Yeah. My last name was Whitfield, and his is Winfield. So people just, that's your dad. And I'm like, for a minute, I just let it go roll with it. Like, yep. Because, I mean, y'all just can't see the difference in the wit and the wind. So, but yeah, that's my guy. I love Coach Whitfield, and I give all thanks to him for, you know, my career and what I was able to accomplish. And he just saw something in me that I didn't see in myself.
Great guy, especially for all, like, even when you was gone, he was still was in there. I remember when we played King, he blew us all about 30, but he was still on the bench. Funny story. After the game, I was like, hey, coach was like, hey, what's up, big fella? How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. You know how you kick it with you. I'm like, why you got 2 watches on? He was like, don't you got 2 wrists? I'm like, yeah, you do. You do have 2 wrists, so I get it.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Because you wear 2 shoes, don't you? You wear 2 this. Like, he had a way of making something make sense that didn't make sense to you before. It makes you think about it. Like, well, I do got 2 wrists. I guess I can switch it up. But he definitely wore them 2 watches. So I believe that's exactly what he used to say, Skip.
So my next question is, how was it playing with Jasmine Stone? I mean, from the outside looking in, I know y'all was like this, you know what I'm saying? But how was it playing with, because I noticed when I play with like Petey, for instance, one name always gonna be bigger than the other, always. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How was it playing with Jasmine?
Man, it was like the perfect combination. Like, I it's the best player in the post that I've ever played with, because people don't know Stone, she really got a guard mentality. Okay. So she's not like, she's a scorer, but her first instinct is to dish it. So for me, a person that's a scorer, I loved her because we had the high-low down pat. Like, she high, I'm low, or I'm high, she low, we killing. The only thing was we was just big, right? So if we getting the rebound, we coming down the court, dribbling hot in the mud. We got little guards like Reese just coming like, whoop, taking it from us. You know what I'm saying? But playing with Stone, and, you know, Stone and I played together in AAU. So that just strengthened our relationship and our basketball relationship in itself, because we were so in unison. Like, I knew what she would be. She knew what I would be. I knew she was going up for the rebound. She knew I was down the court ready for her to outlet it. Like, it was like we were just in tune, and it made it so much easier and so much fun to actually, you know, accomplish the things that her and I accomplished. So I definitely enjoyed playing with Stone on every level. And again, her and I have been playing together for over 10 years, high school and AAU. So, and Stone is cold. Like, don't get it twisted. That girl can play, like play. Yeah. She'll get that ball and cross you over like she is like a 5'5" point guard, and she's standing 6'3".
Exactly, and emotional too. You know, get a ball yelling in your face all the time. Man.
I mean, you giving me chills because you know whenever her and I and you know Cyrese and all of us and Janelle and all of us get together and we just speak on the type of talent level we were at the age we were at, like I don't think we understood like the dominance that we acquired together individually, but more so together. And it was just, again, all of us had that unison within each other. Like when we played AAU ball together, there was no stopping us. Like no stopping us.
Call AAU team too, by the way.
Yeah, Michigan crossover. Shout out to the Michigan crossovers. We were equivalent to the male family, just the girl version out of Michigan.
For sure. Y'all probably had the best AAU team. I ain't gonna say y'all top 5 for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. We didn't conquer Boo Williams and the Nike tournaments and all of that good jazz. So man, it was one of the best times of my life.
Okay, so Martin Luther King has recently had a tragedy. Coach Reynolds has passed away. I'm gonna give you my best Coach Reynolds story, and then I want to know if you've got a Coach Reynolds story.
I definitely got.
Okay, so I actually dated his daughter Rhonda. And I remember Coach Reynolds catching me in the hallway. And for those who don't know, Coach Reynolds was our football coach, big guy, but he was a big teddy bear, just the nicest guy ever. But he told me, he said, Turner, I really like you, and I want to keep liking you. Boy, don't make me hurt you.
Yeah, Coach Reynolds, him and them cookies, boy. He come through. Oh, no, that was Coach James. That was
Coach James had the popcorn and the cookies.
Man, that was Coach James. But yeah, Coach Reynolds, he come through with the beans and cornbread from that Creole place right there on Graham. But Coach Reynolds, I remember when the boys got caught gambling in the locker room upstairs. We was in the gym kicking it. That was our little spot. And he caught them gambling up there, and he cussing them out in the hallway. And I heard him yell, out, get out, OWT, out. And I just remember thinking like this, OWT, like he spelled that, like you spelled that completely wrong, Coach. Then I heard him say it a few more times. I'm like, yeah, Coach Reynolds him and Coach Whitfield was hilarious. Oh, they had some crazy stuff they used to say, and I used to be cracking up like these two old ones right here. Yeah. But rest in peace, Coach Reynolds, man. Like, he was about his business too, and he built a legacy at that school similar to Coach Whitfield. And when I got that news, that was gut-wrenching, because although I never had the the opportunity to play under him, my brother was affiliated with him and his program, so he is near and dear to our family. So I hated to hear that. So rest in peace to Coach Reynolds, and anybody. I'm sorry for anybody that did play for him. They're lost. So
absolutely.
My next question for you, Q, and you got to be careful with this because I know you got a lot of.
Scared.
Give me your top 5 women basketball players to come through King.
Dang. And you know what? I can't remember everybody's names. This is gonna be so hard too, because again, that era that came before me, I know that one of them is definitely gonna be Tashana Gregory. I was always a fan. She was a point guard at King. I think she maybe came out in 2002, maybe the year I went into King. Mm-hmm. Oh no, she probably came in 2000. Tashana Gregory, Leisha Jones. Leisha Jones, probably the best post player I've ever seen in my life. Like Leisha Jones, most definitely. Jasmine Stone.
Merle Ferguson.
Yeah, you can take it. You can add some players in there if you want to. Some ones I won't particularly know. Marquita Aldridge definitely gonna be in there. So that's 4 because I was a fan of her. And
what was the last one you said? The one who scored that 61 points on Persia?
Oh,
that was Merle Ferguson. We can put Merle in there.
And then we had another post player that was Sheree McFarley.
Dang, the King.
That's old school though. That's my time.
Yeah, the King had to. I King had some twins too back during that era.
Oh, Joyce and Lois.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. We heard about them too. We heard about them too. Coach, he stayed bringing up the old players, and I'm just like, I don't know who these people are, Coach. I don't know. I can't call it.
And I'm pretty sure you bringing your name up to the young players he coaching now. Like, man, you a rebound like Q. You don't put it.
Oh man, I hope if he do, then I did something. If Coach Whitfield, wherever he is, whatever he's doing, if he is still investing his time into, making girls better, I don't think he is. But if he is, and he happens to compare or, hold him to a standard of my name, I know that's me feeling like I've accomplished something. Because when he used to bring up them names of them old players, I mean, it was faithfully. He never switched up names. It was always the same names. So if I'm in that group, then I did something. I'm proud. I feel accomplished.
Next question I got for you, Q. Best player you played with and the best player you played against? In high school.
Does it matter like the position? Man, this is going to be hard because I played with some good girls. I'm just going to be completely honest. I played with some good girls and played against some great ones too. So best player I played with, I'm just going to go with Alicia Jones. I'm just going to go, like, I played with her and can remember being in awe while I was on the floor with her about some of the things she was able to do on the floor. Her little turnaround, fade away, she making it every time. Like, I'm just gonna get that to Leisha because I was a big fan of Leisha's while I was with her at King and even after King. And against, man, I know I played some good girls out of state. I'm telling you, but I just can't remember their names. But if we're gonna just stay in the city, in the area, I'm just gonna go with the girl who for my position, she played for Southfield Lathrop. Her name was Tamika. I don't know if you remember Tamika. They beat us in that state championship. Tamika was strong. Yeah, she was strong. She was actually one of the most difficult players for me to play against because of how strong she was. And I was really strong. So it was always like a battle playing against her. So I'm gonna go with her.
Okay. Now my next question is, moving into college, why Michigan?
So for Michigan, and I don't know if a lot of people know this story or back history, but Michigan was never an option for me prior to me deciding that I was going to go to Michigan. It was like super random. Like what happened was my father, my family in Marvin, this is super close knit and very, very supportive. And my mother and father never missed a game. I'm talking never missed a game. They was always at everything, especially my mom. She was at practices, games. My father always came to games. And my junior year, my father was indicted and he knew that he was going to prison. So while I was in the middle of taking my visits, I was on my last visit to NC State. And that was actually the school I was going to sign with. And NC State, I went down there with my mom and they showed me the best time of my life. I'm talking from, the actual athletic program to the team, to the parties, to it was like the ideal visit for me. And the coaching staff had already proved their loyalty to me prior to me coming on the visit. I mean, it felt like a family. Like it was such a good feeling that's where I was going. So the morning that we were leaving North Carolina, they came to our hotel. Me and my mom was getting ready to leave, and we sat down at the table, and they just wanted to know my thoughts. How do you feel? And I just out of nowhere, hadn't discussed it with my mom or anything, was like, I'm coming here. I want to sign. And they all got excited, and my mom was looking. She was like, wait. She was like, hold on. Let's talk to your dad about this first. And soon as she said that, I knew something was wrong because my mother. Not to say my dad was never involved in those type of decisions, but he really wasn't. He allowed my mother, because, my mom was a hooper too. So she kind of knew, the culture of basketball and college and stuff like that. So he left it in her hands. So when she kind of stopped me and asked me to talk to my dad first, I knew that something wasn't right. And whatever was going to come out of this was going to be bad news, for either me, my father, whoever, that she wanted me to actually have a conversation with first. So she like, I need you to call your dad and, let him know what you just did and what you just said. So I'm like, all right. So I called him, your dad I want to start in North Carolina. This is where I want to go. What do you think? And he was like, I think we need to have a talk before, you make that type of decision. So now I really know something wrong. I need to hurry up and get back home and see what's going on. So I go home, and we sit down as a family, and my dad let me know what the situation was and what was going to happen. And from there, he was the one he went, why don't you think about Michigan? And I'm like, Michigan, they suck. Like, they ain't winning. Like, they don't play my type of basketball. That was my mindset. Like, they wasn't like the run and gun that I was used to. I wanted to play down south ball. I wanted to go down to North Carolina where I knew I would fit in. But when my father made that suggestion, and they had been calling. I'm talking calling. During that period, it wasn't a dead period. So schools was recruiting us. You know how that goes, Skip. And they was calling. But every time Michigan called, it was hit and miss. I'm like, sometimes I might talk to them. Sometimes I might. I might not. I didn't consider Michigan, so I wasn't eager to entertain any conversation that, to have with them, because I didn't want to go there. I was thinking about basketball. And my father broke it down to me in the sense of, once what was going to happen, and him being the sole provider of our family, my support system wasn't going to be there the way that it was before. My mother wasn't going to be able to travel to North Carolina to see my games, and my dad wasn't going to be around to see my games. And to the thought of me being down there by myself without my support system, something that I was used to, it was scary. And, when my dad suggested Michigan, it was like, you got to think about life after basketball. A Michigan degree could take you anywhere in life. I mean, he just put that in perspective. And I kind of ran with it and was like, well, I mean, I'm not trying to go somewhere where my mom can't come see me. If I'm in North Carolina for more than 3 months and I haven't seen my mom, I could just see me coming back home. That's just how it was for me, because I was so close to my family, and I was so used to having them there. I'm even talking about AAU. Every tournament, I'm talking, we going to Portland, Oregon. She worked for FedEx. She took standby flights to come with us. We going to Vegas. She there. She was everywhere with us. So that idea of her not being there completely threw me off. And then that's when I started reaching out to Michigan, and Coach Burnett and Coach Gage, I mean, they jumped on it. Like, once that I started showing that interest back, they ran with it. So I went on a visit, it wasn't nothing like North Carolina State. We went bowling. I'm like, red flag. I'm like, red flag. We're going bowling. I'm like, where the party's at? I know y'all party. I just wanted to have that same experience that I had when I went to North Carolina. But again, I did what I thought was best for me and my family at that time, because I knew that because of what was happening, it wasn't going to be the same. And I wasn't going to be able to perform to my full potential in another state away from my family without my family. So I chose to go to Michigan. And to be honest, I actually wanted to go to Michigan State, right? My sophomore year, Michigan State, Coach P was on my head. Like, she really, really wanted me, but somehow she just stopped recruiting me. Like, just stopped. No answers, no explanation. And then after she heard, this is what I think, after she heard, because I hadn't talked to them since my sophomore year, after it was out that I was considering Michigan, that's when I got a phone call from Michigan State. And I'm like, well, where y'all been? So I was like, maybe I should consider them, Mom. And my mom was like, no, loyalty. She was like, if they was able to drop you like that after whatever happened, I don't know, and not, explain to me what was going on, and then all of a sudden they back in the picture, she's like, you don't want to go there. So, because you get there and some bull crap jump off, and then it's no loyalty. She was like, so you got to look at those type of red flags. So I didn't consider Michigan State, and it was straight Michigan after that. I went on my visit, and I solely picked Michigan based on the fact that, I needed to be close to my family, and then we had some stuff that we was dealing with that I knew I couldn't handle while I was gone too far away.
Okay, so now you signed with Michigan, and your partner in crime, your AAU teammate, going to Michigan with you. Did that make you feel comfortable going more to Michigan?
It did. Reese was another reason why I decided to go to Michigan, because I felt like, okay, Reese gonna be there with me. And although, it's not giving me the same vibes as I got from North Carolina State, at least I'll have my point guard there, because that's essentially what Reese was. I'm like, at least I know that much, that my guard is with me, my for real guard is with me, and we gonna do damage regardless. And that's what happened. My freshman year, we played, and we didn't do well as far as a team, like as the season at all. Because we were trying to come out of a hole that the program was already in, And it's just, we couldn't come out of it. And essentially it led to Coach Burnett, being let go. And if I had known that Coach Burnett's job was in jeopardy prior to me going there, I would have never went to Michigan. I would have just made another decision, because my thing was Coach Burnett was another reason why I felt comfortable, because I felt like she was invested in me. I think she really, really wanted me. She thought the world of me. Like she really would come to my games and see me play and make me feel like I was Jordan out there or something. Like, I'm like, dang, coach, I only scored 12 points. But, she saw something in me similar to other coaches that, contributed to my development. So that was another reason. But when she got fired, it just went right after that.
So leading to that segment, because I know we spoke to Reese as well prior to explain when a new coach came in, your experiences playing for him and just the atmosphere of the team.
That experience was the worst experience of my life. It ripped something that meant everything to me out of me, and I never got it back. Simply because a coach came in who didn't know me personally or athletically, and he wasn't trying to get to know me personally and athletically. He came in with this preconceived notion about what he wanted his team to be, with who he wanted it to be with, and he pushed me completely to the back burner. No matter how good I felt I did my freshman year, out his mouth, freshmen shouldn't play. Out his mouth to me, freshmen shouldn't play, right? So I didn't get a chance to play my sophomore year at all. I sat on the oak the whole year. I mean, he probably sprinkled me in there. Like, how the end of the game, when you up by a certain amount of points, start putting the lesser players in. For me, that was like, I had never, ever, ever been that type of player where I only get the sloppy seconds. So it was mentally like, a breakthrough for me, because I wasn't used to it. And, at the end of that season, the sophomore season, I don't know if you know this, but he tried to kick me off the team.
I remember that.
We had, so the end of the year evaluations, where you meet with the coach and, he let you know what he expects for you for the upcoming season, how you did in the previous season. And that meeting for me went like, hey, Q, I think you're an awesome basketball player. And I think you'll make a great coach one day, because your basketball IQ is really high. You're strongness, but I think you'll make a better coach than you would a player. And I don't think you're good for the program that we're trying to build. So I think it'll be best for you to, seek other opportunities. And that's how it went. And I was sitting there and I was like, wait. I'm like, so let me get this straight. I'm like, so you kicking me off the team? Like that, just like that. And you have to understand, I chose Michigan. Like, I chose Michigan last minute. It wasn't something that I was like thinking. It was just, I chose you, and here you are sitting in front of me, basically kicking me off your team because you said I don't fit whatever program you trying to build. But it backfired on him, because I'm just the type of person where I like to build relationships with people, because in life, it's all about who you know and not what you know. So I had developed a great rapport with our administration at Michigan. And I'm talking about our athletics. So our athletic director, her name was Bitsy, and her and I were cool, just off the simple fact that, she understood my background and the type of person I was and what I was trying to accomplish, and she respected it. And her and I had a great relationship. My academic advisor, her name is Raquel. I owe a lot to her, and another academic advisor by the name of Sherry. When I left that meeting that he kicked me off the team, I mean, I was bawling. Like, I had a dark cloud had came over me, and just, I was never the same again after that. Like, I just remember walking out of that office and just feeling like my legs was falling from up under me, and I couldn't hardly stand up. And I was just crying, and I was crying. I was devastated. And I went straight to Raquel's office, and she in frantic mode, what happened? What's going on? And I told her what happened. And she was just like, he can't do that. Like, he can't make that call like that. Like, does Bitsy know? Like, she started, making phone calls to Bitsy. She was in some type of meeting where she couldn't get pulled out of. So my teammate from Toledo, her name is Jess, still one of my good friends. She decided to get me off campus and take me back to Toledo with her, just to get my mind off of things, because we were all just so shocked. I mean, sometimes I have nightmares about that meeting, sitting there watching them two sit in my face. The assistant coach got this big smile on her face. And, you know, it was just a gut punch for me. So that ruined and took a part of me that I'll never get back. So while we were in Toledo, my phone had died. And I remember when I charged it, I had got a voicemail and it was him. And he go, Q, hey, you know, it's Coach Borseth, and I just wanted to give you a call because I'm not sure if you know, you took our meeting the wrong way. He was like, I just, you know, I don't think you understood what I was trying to say. I think that you and I should have a meeting on Monday because it was a Friday. When we get back on campus, I'm out of town with my family, so let's talk when I get back. So that made me know that somebody had called him, you know, to basically chin check him, like, what the hell is going on? Mm-hmm. So we had to have this big meeting. Like, my mother had to come up, and we had this meeting with the coach, Bitsy, my mother, myself, and, you know, my mom, she everything, man, because she asked questions that I don't think the administration asked, because we had learned that he had never coached Black girls before. Never coached Black girls, never had coached a Black girl before, didn't care to really coach us. You know, my style of play was a lot more aggressive than what he was used to. And he, a lot of the times, tried to soften me up. He told me plenty of times, like, my person who played my position, who actually got a chance to play when we was in practice, and we would, because Reese and I was on a scouting team every practice, so we would be the other team. We was getting ready to play. I would go to work on her. I'm talking go to work. I would be messing her up in practice, physically, mentally, all of that, making her cry, all of that, because I was so enraged with the fact that y'all was using me to make her better, you know, and sitting me on a bench like I'm cattle or something. Like, it defeated me big time. So my mom asked questions like, did you even ask him, had he coached Black girls? You got a team full of 50% Black girls, and you didn't even ask these questions. And she was like, no, I didn't ask that question. I didn't think it was necessary to ask. Why wouldn't you? You know, why wouldn't you think that was necessary to ask? So my mom asked all the, you know, the hard questions, but necessary, and it exposed them, and exposed the administration that they didn't do their due diligence to make sure they was bringing somebody into this program that had everybody's best interest at heart. And I really think that it had everything to do with where I was from, my edge, the edge by myself, you know, the Detroit cockiness, you know, like, I wasn't just like no cocky, you can't check me type of player, but, you know, I was confident, and he didn't like it. And like I said, he had no problem with hiding the fact that he didn't like Black people. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be completely honest. You know, Reese told you guys what he said about the Michigan State boys basketball team, and when he made that comment, I remember I said something. We was in practice. I was standing at the baseline, and it pissed me off. I was ready to get kicked off right then and there, because I know those guys. You know, like Kaylin Lucas, Darrell Summer. My brother played with them. So, and those boys are from the suburban areas. They not even from Detroit. So when he made that comment about them being Detroit thugs, it pissed me off, because I'm like, they're not thugs. Like, they come, you know, Kaylin come from a 2-parent household, you know, Darrell, you know, from the city, but it just pissed me off, because he made them type of comments often. And it was just like, somebody has to say something. Like, this is like blatant racism. And he is just so like confident with saying it, that he don't care. He's just not caring, and nobody's saying nothing. So I don't think he liked that about me either. Because when I said something about that comment he made about the Michigan State boys basketball team, he kind of shunned me and was like, yeah, whatever. And I'm just like, no, but they not thugs.
Okay, I know him personally, they're not.
They're not thugs, like, at all. Like, get your facts straight. Everybody from Detroit is not thugs. And he made a point to emphasize the Detroit thugs. I'm like, wow, this guy is something else. So I carry a hate for him in my heart that I really am trying now in my, you know, in my later years after basketball to let go, because, you know, it is mentally still, you know, affecting me in the sense that I really feel like he had that much power to take something that meant everything to me away from me for no reason at all. For no reason at all.
Are you guys familiar with this coach, Marvin and Vince?
Yeah, that's the one that you pulled up.
No, I'm just saying, like, because, you know, I hadn't really heard of him, and you know, I looked him up, and very intense guy. I mean, I think he got a viral video where he came into a press conference, like, throwing stuff all over the place.
We was in the locker room when that happened. I could hear him. Yeah, we could hear him. Yeah. And I'm just sitting there like, yo, he's crazy. He's crazy. And like he took the culture of college basketball and made it so like nonchalant, because when Coach Burnett there, it was so structured. We had 3-hour practices. The first hour consisted of, stretching, fundamentals, basics. The second hour consisted of, position play. You put the post down there. I mean, it was structured, organized. Our conditioning was structured and organized. It was just it felt like college basketball. Loving basketball, you see that movie and that's what you expect of college. That's how it was. But when he came, I'm talking hour practices. We'll be in there for an hour. He'd be like, okay, gotta look at my kids. See y'all later. And I'm just like, what? That's it. Like it was just different. It was completely different, and you could tell that. For me, I just didn't think that he was the guy for the job at all. Like I don't know. That's just me. That was my experience, and it was awful, and I'm still paying for it to this day, because basketball for me, I would have liked to let the game stop on my court and not somebody else's, because eventually what happened was I went on a mental spiral. Like I was not myself anymore. I was angry, arguing and fighting with my teammates. I missing classes. I'm talking my grades was dropping. I got my first D ever. It was just, it changed me. And people that cared about me and loved me, like my mother and my administration, they saw it. And they put me in counseling. I was in counseling for like a year. And it got so bad that, again, I was falling out with my teammates. Bitsy, that same person, she, something happened on campus where, I had to have a meeting with her, and I just broke down in her office. I don't know what happened. I just broke down. Like I said, that experience broke me in two. And she saw it. She saw the change. She saw what kind of person I had become. And she made the executive decision to make some calls. And she asked me, I remember, she said, Q, if I can find a way to honor your scholarship without you going back to that team, would you finish out your scholarship and stop playing ball? And I said yes, as quick as I could. I said yes, because that was the only way that I could see myself, coming out of that without it being worse than what it was. And then the next morning at 8 a.m, she called me and was like, don't go to practice. I need you to come in and sign some contracts. You got to maintain the C average. You can't get nothing less, or the contract would be null and void, whatever. And after that, I was just a regular college student. And it felt good, but it wasn't enough, because Reese, she did what I probably should have did and just left. She did what I probably should have did and just left. But I held on to that little bit of hope that if I work hard, I was working extra harder, like in the gym, like what I got to do, coach, going to his office hours, begging this man to allow me to show him that I could be out there doing exactly what he needed me to do to contribute to, what we was trying to accomplish. Nope.
And just that was actually going to be my next question is, obviously you and Reese had what it take to play, and that you should have played. When Reese left, you never considered that?
After she left, I did, but right after she left is when my opportunity to quit the team presented itself. So it was literally maybe like 2 months after Reese decided she was leaving that I got the opportunity that I got. And instead of me, seeking out other opportunities at other schools, I just was like, I'm a junior. I'm about to graduate next year. So it's over. Like, it just, for me, that's how it happened for me. It just felt over. It felt over, and it felt like it didn't make sense to go start over somewhere else. But after I was getting ready to graduate, my AAU coach, Ms. Oliver, he had, been making phone calls because he stayed in touch with Tyrese and I throughout that whole experience because he was pissed. He was like adamant that Michigan would never get another crossover player because of how Michigan was treating two of his, profound players from the program. And he was calling us every day, like, we need to figure out something, like, this is some BS. And, nothing ever came about, but he did call me with an opportunity to, finish out my last year eligibility at a grad school. It was going to be grad school for me at IPFW, Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne. So that's what I did. I left. I graduated in December of 2009, and then in January I went off to Indiana, and I only stayed there for just a semester, because that didn't work out. That that team was different, and for me, I had lost all passion for it. Like, I had lost it all for basketball. I didn't even want to pick up a ball no more because I was just so over it, because I was so exhausted with what I just had to deal with.
And I remember us having a conversation a lot too, me being at Eastern, and then the relationship I had with your mom and you as well. And that's one thing I hated seeing that with you, because if people that don't know you, man, the love of basketball and the passion for the game, it was nobody close to how much you love basketball. You know what I'm saying? And then to see that taken away from you, not like how mine was, and we had conversations about that, like how
right, yeah,
was by, I don't know why, but you still got the opportunity. And when you sat there and looked me in my face, it was like, you know what? I don't love it no more, Skip. But I was like, damn.
I remember that, Skip. I remember that conversation.
Damn, excuse my French, but I'm like, damn. And this is somebody, man, who, like I said, I would compare myself to Q if I was a girl. Great, terrific rebounder. You know what I'm saying? Can do this, can do that. And when she told me that, I'm like, you know what? He really sucked all of. He really hurt you.
One man did that to me. One man, for no reason, just because where I'm from, like I said, it would be times we'll be in practice and I'd do an up and under move and I'd take that elbow and throw the girl down with it. I mean, I ain't being extra with it. It's just one move. That's my move. My up and under was my move. And I knew how to get you on your butt. You know what I'm saying? He would stop practice. I need you to just calm down a bit. I need you to calm down a bit. It's other ways that you can be successful down here without, throwing your teammates to the ground. She need to get big. She need to get big.
Facts.
Because we're in the Big Ten. Like, how you stopping practice telling me you think Wisconsin and Ohio State and Purdue, and you think they in practice telling their players to calm down? Those schools recruited me too. Those schools wanted me too. You know what I'm saying? Because of how aggressive I was. I wasn't considered a post player. You guys have to understand that. I was only 5'11". I hiked my height up a little bit just for the roster's sake, but I was only 5'11" as a four. So essentially, I probably was one of the shortest four players in the Big Ten, but the most effective because I was so strong and I knew what I was doing down there. You know what I'm saying? So I had to do things differently to stand out and not be, just beat up on down there, essentially. So for him to, make me feel like that the way that I had played all my career was too much, and it got me all the accolades and all the acknowledgments and all the exposure that I got, like, it just was like, you really don't like me. You really, really don't like me. Like, I would it got to the point, Skip, where I was like, maybe I could just go kiss his butt or something. Go up there and see how his wife and kids doing. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Let me get in his head. Let me get him. I'm not no chick from Detroit that's just, my dad just not my life. And, the culture of what people think the city is. Like, I come from a 2-parent household. My family, my parents work. I got siblings, like, come on, man, I'm not a bad person. Like, get to know me, get to know my story, get to know what I've overcome. And then you'll understand why maybe I'm aggressive or why I play like this or whatever the case. Like, but he didn't want to. I go to his office and it was like pulling teeth to get that man to talk to me. And it ruined me. It ruined me big time. So, at this age, I'm finding a way to kind of let it go, because, you go from being, who we were and at that age, Skip, in high school, and getting the acknowledgement. I'm talking about in the newspaper every week. You got, sports, what's that, Detroit sports team in your face after every game with a camera and a microphone and LeQuisha Whitfield, it was just, it felt so good. It made me go harder because it made me feel like I was accomplishing something major, especially within my family. I was the first female in my family to get the type of accolades and things that I've accomplished in my life. And it drove me. So to hit that type of, roadblock and not have a way to come out of it, because like I said, here I am almost 15 years later, still trying to find a way to cope with the fact that part of my life is done. Like, it's nothing else that I can do about it. It's over. So I just got to figure out a way to let it go.
And I appreciate you telling that story because I think that's another aspect of college athletics that, um, that as in the pros, right? There's trades, things of that nature, but you're talking about how it can affect your whole life, your schooling, if you and the coach don't get together or don't get along, be it whatever side, from whatever side. So I think that's important to talk about. So
and I got one thing.
Appreciate that.
Not to cut you, I know Vince, I know you got some, but I gotta answer this last question. Well, not the last question, but you get it. Q, do you think that early racism helped you later on in life? Because a lot of times, like my first racist moment, it happened later on in life. So at that point, I tripped out. I flipped out. Do you think that helped you on being young and going through that now in I guess the corporate world or just your everyday life?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hate to say that was like, it was the start of, because now I'm in my 30s. When it happened, I just be looking like, y'all some courageous people up in here. Like, y'all just don't care. Y'all say what y'all want to say. Y'all do what you want to do. But if I hadn't been exposed to that at 18, 19 years old, I wouldn't be at the maturity level that I am now to be able to acknowledge when it's happening and know how to deter myself away from handling it with rage or anger, or because I felt like I made it through something that a typical 18, 19-year-old person who really isn't familiar with the the white culture, because I'm from, the city. I've been exposed to white people before that. I had white friends that I played AAU ball with, but not to that level that I dealt with in college, to where it was actual blatant racism. So it is most definitely prepared me, because, we work in the corporate industry and it happens every day. It happens every single day. It may be because I'm a woman, maybe because I'm a Black woman, or just Black in general. But now I was prepared to be able to just say, hey, it's what we got to deal with. It's what we got to deal with. And even though it sucks, and every time it does present itself, it doesn't make me feel good or feel better. I have been exposed to it early enough to know that this is just the way of life, and I got to figure out a way to fight my way through it, just like I fought my way through it at Michigan.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I commend you. But speaking on that, have you ever thought about maybe the coaching profession?
Yeah, I have. You know what? And I need to really kind of get up off my butt and really, because these young ladies, they need players like me and Cyrese, and the age that the era that we came from, because it's so different now. And I think that's why I haven't been able to, because Coach Whitfield definitely wanted me to come right after school to come and help him, but I didn't. I started working, and my work schedule never really allowed me to be able to invest my time into it the way I wanted to. But when I did come around it kind of annoyed me at how different it is for the girls versus when I played, because they don't take it as serious, I feel like, as we did at that age. Just some of the things that I was observing when I did go to practices and things like that. I'm like, oh my God, like Coach Whitfield, you getting old, you would have never allowed this when we was playing. But I had to realize that he is getting old. So it's going to take, somebody like myself to bring that culture of basketball back and get these young ladies to understand that you can't be like this. You can't talk back to your coaches. You got to listen. And because we didn't dare talk back to our coaches. We did not dare. I would think it, but I wasn't saying it. I was not saying it. And these girls will say it, and I'll be sitting there like, what? So that kind of shied me away, because although, my love for the game is not what it was, it's still there, so it's personal for me when I see, or when even I step into them, that box, that square, that court, that once you step inside those four corners, it's over. All the playtime is over. You're not here to play. You're not here to laugh and giggle. You're here to play ball. And I didn't think that they took that serious, so I kind of shot away. But now I think that I need some part of basketball in my life to be able to feel better about that void that I have, because I do. I have a void that nothing is filling, ever since I lost ball. So I think that being involved with basketball in some way will help me. I just need to go ahead and jump back out there.
Sure. One of my last questions is, tell how important your mom is. I can explain the story, man. I done been over to the house numerous of times. Skip, you gonna eat what you want to eat every time. Even listen to me, even when Q left, or her brother that she speaks on, Flynn. He's a year younger than me, so we played the battles versus Persian versus King, AAU stuff. She always just been that nice person, that nice, like my second mother. So explain how important your mom is to you.
Jesus, like my mom is everything. I can't put a word to it. I can't walk through this life without her. Like, she has instilled so much, and I wouldn't be the woman I am today without my mom. Even this day, I do everything in light of her. Like, if I do good at work, Mom, so guess what I did today? Like, it's just, she's so proud of me and everything that I do, and that fuels me. You know what I'm saying? And my mom, I couldn't imagine not having her. And what you just said about her being like a second mom to you, she's like that with every kid in this city. I'm talking not just with King Crusaders, but it's just something about my mom that, she sees something in these kids to this day. Like, she's a diehard King fan. She go to every King game. She calling me, you going to the King game today? I'm like, what game? Like, how you know about she's so invested in the pro. She know more about the season and the wins and the losses and who they playing, who the kids are. And I'm just like, I don't know who these kids are. Like, if I come out there, I don't know who I'm watching, what's their name. Just come out there. I'm more of a King fan than y'all. You and your brother don't never come to no games. So she the one that keep us on track and get us to the game. But them kids, when I do go, the way they flock to my mom, Miss Whitfield this, Miss Whitfield that. I haven't seen a young boy cry in my mama's arms before. Cry, like run straight to her and cry. And I'm just like, where did you meet these kids? Like, how do you know these kids? When she genuinely loves them and they genuinely love her. My friends still love her. Stone, like my mom let Stone come live with us for a while, while her grandmother went down south and stayed down south for a while for the summer. Stone had to come live with us. Stone thought she was going to come live with us and still do what Stone wanted to do. So when I told Stone, I said, listen, let me explain something to you. I said, I don't sneak out. I don't sneak in. If Stone need to be off, Stone need to be off. I said, it's rules in here. I know you ain't used to rules. Stone thought that first day she was there, she was going to sneak out and come back before Moms got up. So I go, all right. I'm like, you going to have fun. I think I'm going to stay here and take one for the team. I just let you know when she wake up. Well, Stone didn't make it back by the time Mom woke up. So we in the van waiting for Stone to pull up so we can go to our game. And I'm nervous for Stone. I'm like, well, I wonder what my mama gonna do to her. I'm like, this ain't her child. So I'm curious. Oh, well, it didn't seem like it was made of a difference that she wasn't Stone's child, because she's told to Stone, like, I was in the car like, the rest of the summer, Stone's in the house with me. We got a great summer. She also no different. She kid, no kid. She had you, it don't matter. She's just that type of mother. So if she like that to y'all, just imagine how much of a blessing it is for me to have that type of mother. And that's the reason why I couldn't go to North Carolina State. I could not go and not have my mom there by my side. So, if you guys ever had the pleasure to meet her, she is this is her, ironically, a picture right here, but that's my mom right there. I don't know if you can see her real good, but she is everything, man. She's God sent, and she's the reason that I am who I am today, and strong and confident and able to adhere to whatever I come across and just try to, get through it, because I got her right by my side. And I'm not the only one that feel like that, outside of my brothers and sisters, as kids in this era, my era, I'm talking, we all love her. Right. They kids, mom this. I'm like, who are these kids calling you mom? You only got 4 kids. You only got 4 kids. Who is it? And she knows. She turned around, yes, baby. I'm like, how do you know? Who are these kids? Where are they mamas and daddies? But yeah, man, she's everything. So I'm glad that she was able to experience that, Skip, because when she watched the podcast with Reese and she spoke about how proud she is of you, the pillar that you are in the community, and she got choked up and emotional because of what you've overcome. And she consider you, you know, just like you her own son. So I'm glad that you know, brought that up because she loves you just the same, bro.
Yeah, I love her, and any and everywhere she sees me, she definitely let me skip. I'm proud of you. I was kind of worried when you couldn't play ball no more when you went into that little. I don't know what you but
yeah.
No matter where I'm at, we could be at a Jill Scott concert. When she sees me,
I'm telling you.
I'll holler at moms real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, you already know. You already know. So that's somebody you need to meet. Y'all need to meet Vincent. Y'all need to meet her. If you ever see her at a game, she at every game. She don't miss a game. She don't miss, no matter who playing.
Crusader, I got to. I have to.
You got to. Because although she didn't actually go to King, she's just as much a Crusader as you and I, man. She's a diehard. She gonna be there. She gonna be out there in the rain, sleet, and snow. Football season, helping with the cheerleaders. That's just the type of person, and she love the game. She love the game. So wherever the game is at, she gonna be. And that's who taught me everything I know.
Okay. My last question for you is, if you could think back in your career, one play that you might kick yourself over or you wish that you had a redo, one play in your career, what would that play be? The Southfield Lathrop game.
Man, that game was lost early though.
For sure. Like
it wouldn't have been one play that made a difference. But I will say it will be that city championship game against Reese and them. We played them at Cass, and I'm talking packed house. I mean, and then that's another difference in basketball today and back then. Girls basketball today don't pull in the crowd like we pull in the crowd. We shut down gyms. Like they stopped letting people in our games. That's how packed our games used to be. So we played Reese at Cass, and it was a packed house. And the refs was always after me. I can't remember his name. I can't remember. He's a very popular ref. Still to this day, when he see me, he love me. But he gave me 3 back-to-back fouls. I'm talking play. 3 plays in a row. He gave me 3 fouls, and it got me set on the bench.
Was it the dark skin? Was it the dark skin? Was it dark skin?
Dark skin, tall. He always ref with Coach D.
He had it out for me too, man. I remember. I don't know what it was, man. He used to give me 2 quick fouls in the first quarter every time. I had to sit out to halftime. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I came out, and you know what? Him and my mom are good friends. You know, him, Coach Ref D, they all good friends. But my mama wanted to kill that man after that game. She wanted to kill him. She was like, I don't know, because the first foul might have been a foul, but the second 2 after that, I still can't wrap my mind around them. So maybe if I can go back and just move myself from wherever he called them fouls. They had to set me on the bench for the rest of the first half, and Reese ran away with the game.
Now you bring it back memories for me. We playing Osborne at Persian, right? First one, he called a foul. I'm like, all right, cool. We both diving on the floor for the ball. He called a foul on me. I'm like, you should give me the benefit.
Jump ball, right? This is jump ball.
I'm jumping on the floor for the ball.
He always calls some BS. And
blame it on the refs.
Yep, I always blame it on the refs. I couldn't help it. I was just a little stronger than everybody else. I couldn't help it. He ain't had to call them 3 fouls on me back to back like that. So, but yeah, that's probably what I can think of. We lost my cities, and I was pissed at Reese. But if I could do a flip side on something that I didn't want to change, it'll be when we beat Reese and them in the playoffs, and I went in because Stone got fouled out. I don't know if you was at that game. We played, I think it was Central, because Central got a new school, right? Yeah, we were at Central, and Stone got fouled out. She got fouled out in the 4th quarter, and I stood there. I said, "It's over. It's done. They got us." And then in that same thought, I remember saying, "Man, forget this. It ain't over. And I went nuts. I went completely nuts. Okay, went crazy. That's probably one of the best games I ever played, because I played with so much like passion. I played with so much heart. Not really by myself, because I did have other players like Ebony Cleary on the floor with me. I was able to get her the ball a few times, and she made some crucial plays. But for Stone not to be out there, and for me to explain how dynamic her and I was together, and for me to feel like, dang, like she not here, like it's over, but then in the same breath turn around and just go to work the way I did. Because I remember I had Lauren, Lauren Martin, you know, she had the ball in her hand somehow, and I just ran up on her, snatched it out of her hand like it wasn't nothing. Like it just wasn't nothing. And took it down the court, laid it up, let's get it.
Yeah,
I was so mad.
She was like this, trying to.
Yeah, she was like that.
I just like, give me this. I'm like,
snatched it. And I remember Toy saying to her, "You gonna let her snatch the ball from you like that? Like you just gonna snatch the ball from you?" But I was pissed. I'm like, y'all not about to beat me again with y'all little bitty selves. All these point guards out here running around, running for me and stuff. I can't get the ball. Go somewhere. I'm about to win this game. So that was an exciting game. But yeah, Reese brought that game over. They beat us in the city. So I'm definitely gonna bring this up. You remember Reese couldn't even talk to me after the game. I'm all up in her face like, yeah, Reese. She was like, no, her mama was like, just go, Q, just go. She was like, just go, Q.
I remember that Reese was so bad. She was bad for a whole week.
Girl, listen, Reese could not stand up straight after that game. Her mama was holding her up. I'm like, sorry. Her mama was like, "You just go." I was like, "All right, we'll talk tomorrow." I don't think I talked to her again for a minute after that. I think she called me maybe state playoffs after we lost.
That sounds about right for sure.
Yeah, so that was my story for Persian, because Persian became my rivalry. Like, you know, it went from being Cass to Persian because, you know, essentially you really want to see who gonna give you the best show. And, you know, for a minute, Cass really wasn't. They had Brittany Dorsey and Sharon and those type of players, but Reese and them team was really the team to beat because, again, they were a Cinderella story. They were definitely a Cinderella story, and I get all props to that program, the way that they turned that program around and came out the way they did. And, you know, after, you know, getting older and, you know, getting over that high school stuff, I was actually happy that Reese got a city championship up under her belt, you know, because I had 3, so it was like she can have one.
Hey, that's the least you can do for your friend, right?
At least I can do. Yeah, I just got 3. She can have one. I'll give her 1. You got it.
All right, Q, my last question for you, and I know you got a relationship with all these 3 girls, so make sure you pick wisely. Cut, bench, start. So we got to put Sharice Bass on there.
Okay.
Janelle Harris.
No, you gonna do my best friends. These my best friends.
Oh, that's why I got the last one is remember Jerica Hughes from Southfield?
Oh, you know you dirty. You are dirty.
So you gotta pick, you gotta cut 1, bench 1, start 1. And if I'm gonna tell you this, if it ain't Reese, if you cutting Reese, I'm sending it to her as soon as this launch. Just to let you know.
I just don't think this is a fair question. I don't.
We ask everybody this question.
I see, and you know what? When y'all asked Reese this question, I texted her and said, I push pause, and when I push play, I better hear what I.
And that's one thing she said. She said, "Man, I'm about to go with you because I know she's gonna get that ball in the bucket for sure."
Yeah, she know me. She know me. So I'm gonna bench. I'm gonna cut Jerica.
Okay.
I'm gonna cut Jerica. And I don't want to. Jerica, I don't want to cut you. You know I won't cut you because you one of the coldest to come through. But if I'm comparing it, you know, it's just Reese for me from a point guard standpoint. So I gotta cut Jerica. I'm a bench.
Harris is a bad MF too. People
God dang it, Skip. People don't. Janelle was a horse, bro. She was a horse. She was a thoroughbred. I'm telling you, Janelle was gonna get it done, and she was a great defensive player. A great defensive player. Nobody could. God dug it. Okay, so. All right, so. Yeah, this is tough, and you know I'm going to make my decision. I'm just gonna get it over. I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off. I'm going to bench Janelle only because I'm a scorer. And so is Janelle in a sense. And Reese is a guard. Reese gonna get me the ball. She gonna feed me the ball. So I'm gonna start her because I know for a fact I'm gonna get the ball if Reese on the floor. And Jerica's a scorer too. You know what I'm saying? So she going for the shot first versus the pass. So I want to go with who's gonna pass it to me first, and I know that's gonna be Reese.
So what if you're a coach? What if this ain't even you in the game? If you're a coach, who you starting, who you benching, who you cutting?
Dang. See, I thought I was over. Like I thought when I answered it.
Because you the first, listen, you the first person who's to say this.
Speak up for the point guards here. You got to get the ball up the court.
You got to get it to me too. You got to look for me. You know.
Absolutely.
Dude.
But you know, Q, you the first person who ever said if you were on the floor. No one else ever asked that. Like, you know, if I was on the floor, you know, blah blah blah. So that's why I asked you as a coach. Then
okay, the coach. Yeah. Okay. Well.
But I like that though. Maybe I can start asking both now.
Yeah, you can. And I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna still cut Jerica. I'm gonna bench Reese this time, and I'm gonna go ahead and go with Janelle from the standpoint of a coach, simply because my point is Janelle is a horse, and she gonna get it offensively and defensively. Right. She the type of player that will strip you up, D you up, you dribbling, she D you up, take the ball, get it down the court, score and one. She make it the free throw too. So she didn't got the turnover, the and one, and the free throw. That's just the type of, she always had them type of plays. So in a sense of, you know, just, you know, having somebody out on the floor that I know gonna give it her all on both ends of the floor, and strategically from a coach standpoint, I'm gonna go with her because I know on both ends, this is what I'm gonna get. And not saying that, you know, Cyrese or Jerica, you know, they can't play defense, but, you know, from a height standpoint, you know, Janelle was really a 3-4. And she was just that type of player as a big. You know, usually them the guards that's like that. And Janelle was considered, she was a little bit shorter than me, but she would get it in. So I want her on the floor as a coach because I know that she gonna get it in on both ends.
And see how I cleaned it up for you now? So now you, when they both call, you could be like, well, shit, if I was a coach.
But then Jerica's still my dog too, so I done had to cut her in both scenarios. Like she didn't even get a shot in neither scenario. Like dang, like
she beat you that one year. She gotta go.
That's right.
She gotta go.
Jay. I'm still bitter, Jay. So, but if I
change your podcast to Skip Starton's Trouble, that's what
man. So yeah, these my girls though. These still good friends of mine. So I already know I'm gonna be getting text and call. Janelle ain't gonna care. Janelle, she not gonna care one way or the other. She gonna be like, oh, okay, well, thank you, but I know Reese gonna be calling me like,
sure. Reese gonna care
because I care. I care too. I'm like, what you mean you was gonna bench me? What you mean? So yeah.
And then, Vince, I don't know if you got any other questions, but my last one for you is, who would you like to see on this podcast? And if you got the plug, you got to plug us.
I don't know. Maybe you can get Stone on here or Janelle. You're gonna have to get all the crossover girls, man, because we all in our own individual ways got stories. We do. We all got stories. And I think that each one of our story will be beneficial to the young ladies in this day and age to hear and understand what we were able to accomplish and make it through. So I think that, you know, from a girls basketball standpoint, if you could get those girls on here, Toy, you know, you got a relationship with Toy. You know, she went to Missouri. She had her own experience there. You know, Janelle, she did great. She flourished at Marquette. You know, Stone, she flourished at Temple. I mean, those are girls. Even Jerica Hughes, you can talk to Jerica Hughes. She went to UTEP. These are definitely girls from my era that I think y'all should tap into, so that you can have perspective from all of us from that era. Because our era was a dog era. I'm not even gonna lie to you. We had a dog era from a man's standpoint and a girl's standpoint. For boys and girls basketball, we had a dog era. 06, 05. And the 07s after us, that was a dog era. And I think it'll be very beneficial for you to talk to everybody that was a part of that and to get their perspective on basketball during that time.
You have to plug us with Stone and I can text Nelly, but I need you to plug us with Stone and Jerica for sure.
Oh yeah, I got you. I can definitely do that with Stone. I have to talk to her in a minute, but it ain't nothing to pick up the phone and call her and can chop it up and let her know what's going on.
And Q, my final thing for you is, you know, going through not quite what you went through, but something similar, heartbreaking basketball. You know, I've been coaching for over 20 years now, and I can tell you that did heal. It helped to heal me just by being back in that gym and giving back.
I'm glad to hear that. I really believe that it'll heal me too. And I think I need to go ahead and put my efforts into that so that I can heal, because I haven't, and you know, I want to. So I am going to find a way, you know, after post-COVID and stuff like that, get back in the gym. Even if it's me getting back in the gym and getting some shots up here and there. You know, I got a kid sister who played at King. This is really not for her. She really don't want to play ball the way me and my brother did, but I could still put some investment and time into her just for me to get, you know, because even if I'm in the gym with my son at his games and I just get the ball and shoot it, it just feel good to know that it's still like riding a bike, and you know, I still had a potential to have it, because I'm not old, even though I feel old. I'm not that old, and I still got time to do something with the game to be able to fill that void that I told y'all I got.
Absolutely. And it feels good.
I appreciate that.
It feels good to tell the kids, you know, I'm the best player in the gym still to this day, and then give them work. And you can do that. You know?
Yeah, they be looking at me like I ain't got it, and I'm like, hold on, this just don't go away. You know, this don't go away. Even if you think it's gone, it's not. I can still get all right. I might be tired. I might be a little tired, a little winded, but don't get it twisted, young lady. So.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much for sharing that story.
Oh man,
I love you. You know, I love the family, man. Just thank you so much. Thank you. I really do. You know,
guys, thank you so much. Y'all, it's just a humbling experience, you know, Skip used words like legend, and you know, I don't know if I feel that, you know, I'm at that type of standard, but for people to think that about me, man, it helps to attempt to fill that void, that people, I still go to games and they know who I am, and it's a good feeling. So, you know, thank you guys for allowing me to be a part of what y'all got going on, and you know, to tell my story. A lot of people didn't know my full story, so I'm glad to be able to, you know, share it. And hopefully if somebody is dealing with similar experiences, that, you know, what I went through could help them cope or get through it in some way. But thank you guys. This is super humbling. I'm super flattered. I was excited. I was nervous. I'm texting Skip like, what y'all gonna be asking me? What y'all gonna be asking? I don't remember nobody's names. I don't know nobody.
We do appreciate it. And that's what it's about, you know, just sharing stories and hoping that, you know, whoever or whomever may watch this can learn something from it. So again, we do appreciate it.
Don't you ever forget that you're a legend. You're definitely a legend.
Absolutely. Martin Luther
You
King.
know I love you. Yeah, all day. Crusaders. You know you gotta be a legend. You coming up out them King Crusader walls. Hey. I told my brother I was doing this podcast. He like, oh man, tell Skip I said what up. Tell Skip I said
tell him to call me. That's why I told him to call me.
Yeah, I'm gonna let him know. I told him I was gonna let you know that I told you about him. So he said that he was gonna hit you up.
Okay.
All right, cool. Thank you guys again. I really appreciate it. I had fun.
My producer, pull from the hip 4/5, I'm the shooter. Dog, I do ya. But the two don't discriminate, cause I shoot the guy next to you.
I ain't heard that podcast.